Gil's Arena has long been a hotbed for passionate basketball disputes, with former NBA great Gilbert Arenas and his team spawning viral debates on a variety of basketball themes.
In the W post-Olympic break, I believe 9-4 in that span. Caitlin Clark, huge reason for that success. So set the WNBA single season.
However, a recent show sparked controversy when the hosts discussed the accomplishments of Caitlin Clark, a rising star in the WNBA, and Sheryl Swoopes' perceived underestimation of her ability. What started as a casual basketball discussion quickly turned into a heated debate that shocked the internet sports community. Fans, analysts, and even former players chimed in on the show's controversial statements, particularly those of Swoopes, a WNBA legend who many believed was unfairly minimizing Clark's achievements. In this post, we will examine the viral episode and dissect the arguments offered by both sides. Gilbert Arenas and his colleagues at Gil's Arena have earned a reputation for being unvarnished and frequently provocative when discussing NBA and WNBA matters. The show's style encourages in-depth study, while also fostering contested and occasionally controversial perspectives. The episode in question was no exception. The talk began with a general discussion of how dominance is characterized in sports, particularly among rookie players. Caitlin Clark, who had dominated the collegiate basketball scene before moving to the WNBA, rapidly became the focus of the discussion.
She went from playing in college, playing in the Final Four, going to the draft, going to training camp, season starts, and the Fever are playing I don't know how many games they played.
Clark's performances in college were nothing short of spectacular. Her record-breaking scoring and assist totals brought parallels to some of the best players in women's basketball history. Clark entered the WNBA with huge expectations, but according to Gil's Arena, her effect has yet to materialize fully. And this is where the discussion heated up, whether Caitlin Clark was already a dominant player or if fans and commentators had exaggerated her abilities.
And Glass in for two.
Jackie rounded up all 18 points here in the second quarter.
Sheryl Swoopes, a prominent figure in women's basketball and one of the first players to join the WNBA, poured gasoline on the fire when she spoke up. During the show, Swoopes questioned Caitlin Clark's WNBA supremacy, claiming that while Clark was outstanding in college, her transfer to the professional level had failed to live up to the promise. Swoopes' comments focused on the idea that college dominance only sometimes converts into WNBA success. She pointed out that Clark's WNBA numbers, while excellent, did not always reflect the same level of perfect control over the game that she had demonstrated in college.
It's about like one player, but their ability to really gel together and their chemistry right now.
Many fans disagreed with this opinion, believing Caitlin Clark was a transformative athlete capable of becoming one of the WNBA's brightest stars. While Swoopes' comments were not intended to invalidate Clark fully, they did appear to belittle the considerable pressure and hardships that rookies confront while transferring from college basketball to the pros. As a result, the topic immediately devolved into a dispute over how we evaluate dominance and whether Swoopes was being unduly harsh on Clark.
To me, what Caitlin's been able to do in a short period of time has been very impressive, right?
Gilbert Arenas and his co-hosts on Gil's Arena didn't hold back following Swoopes' initial remarks. In fact, they appeared to agree with her, emphasizing that Clark, despite her scoring and assist records, was not dominating the WNBA in the same manner she had in college. The dispute centered on the intricacies of what constituted domination in sports, with Arenas arguing that Clark's stats, while impressive, still needed to indicate a player capable of controlling the flow of the game at whim.
She wouldn't be good, but I didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately.
One of the most important issues discussed was the distinction between scoring a lot of points and controlling the general flow of a game. While Clark's scoring and assist figures were obviously good, Arenas and his team believed she had yet to reach a level where she could routinely take over games. They thought her numbers were not equivalent to those of other WNBA stars during their peak years, such as A'ja Wilson or Candace Parker. However, Arenas and his team recognized that Clark was still in the early phases of her career, and they made it plain that their criticism was not about her potential, but rather whether she had already achieved the degree of dominance that many expected.
One who said that, too. I think a lot of people felt that when you talk to a lot of players in the W, It's like, look, it's hard for rookies to make that transition
It is hard.
from college to the W.
Gino said it.
A large part of the conversation at Gil's Arena focused on the concept of domination in basketball. The hosts and Swoopes debated what it meant to dominate a game. Is it all about the score, or is there more to it? Caitlin Clark's academic career had set an extremely high bar for what others expected of her. She was a natural leader on the court, setting records for assists and consistently posting high-scoring performances. However, upon entering the WNBA, Clark encountered the same obstacles that many young stars faced in their first seasons, adjusting to the greater level of competition, the toughness of the game, and the faster speed of professional basketball.
Oh, the deep seal, about the block from behind by Wilson.
But Stokes wasn't ready for it.
The Gil's Arena crew contended that domination should not be determined exclusively by points. Instead, it should reflect a player's ability to influence all aspects of the game, including scoring, playmaking, defense, and leadership. They argued that while Clark was an exceptional scorer, her rookie season had not yet demonstrated her ability to manage games at the professional level regularly. They compared her performances to those of established WNBA players who had the experience and savvy to influence games in ways other than stats. Another significant reason driving the argument over Gil's Arena was Caitlin Clark's high expectations. As a college player, she was frequently referred to as the next big thing in women's basketball. Her outstanding collegiate records and ability to produce under duress prompted many to expect she would make an early, superstar-level impact in the WNBA. But is it fair to set such high expectations for a rookie?
It's how they build on that in the second half.
The personnel they have, the way the offense is flowing, and it's absolutely a major part of it, how it goes.
Sheryl Swoopes' comments seemed to imply that Clark's expectations were unrealistic. Swoopes said Clark required time to adjust to the professional game, and her current performance matched that of a very skilled rookie still learning the ropes. Swoopes did, however, point out that the WNBA is not the same as NCAA basketball. Players who dominate in college may not usually carry that dominance to the professionals, and even the most talented rookies require time to develop. The crew of Gil's Arena agreed with Swoopes, stating that while Clark had shown flashes of brilliance, she hadn't yet dominated in the way that many had predicted. The heart of their thesis was that dominance in the WNBA differs from that in college. In college, Clark could outperform opponents with her superior skills, but in the WNBA, every player is excellent, and dominance requires more than just scoring ability.
Saying it, dominate, right? When we're talking about Caitlin, we're talking about when she said dominate, when we're saying dominate.
A lot of the talk on Gil's Arena was about Caitlin Clark's rookie season numbers. Clark's numbers were clearly excellent for a rookie, but the hosts questioned whether they accurately represented dominance. By the halfway point of the season, Clark was averaging around 20 points per game, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. While these figures were amazing for a rookie, some on Gil's Arena thought they paled in comparison to her domination during her college career when she consistently posted 30-point games and was the unquestioned leader of her team.
Vegas a 2-point lead after 1 quarter.
Kelsey Plum over to Clark. Good ball movement. We saw Asia Wilson knock down the three, decides to take it off.
One of the main reasons was that while Clark contributed in a variety of ways, scoring, assisting, and rebounding, her impact on the game was not as strong as it had been in college. In the WNBA, she was no longer the main option on every play, and the level of competition meant she couldn't always dominate the pace and flow of the game as she did at Iowa.
To Juha, Storka fell down. Here comes Wilson. Asia beat the shot clock, and they call a foul. Final second.
The counter-argument, Clark's accomplishments speak for themselves. While Gil's Arena questioned Clark's domination, many fans and commentators argued that Clark's rookie stats were more than enough to demonstrate that she was already making a huge impact in the WNBA. Clark set multiple records during her debut season, including the most points scored by a rookie and the most three-pointers shot in a single season. She also led the league in assists, demonstrating her ability to contribute to her team outside of scoring. For many, Clark's exploits proved that she was, in fact, dominating the league in her unique way.
Team's best player, and that sure has showed up this season in the WNBA.
Wilson, that little shimmy shake a la Hakeem Olajuwon.
Furthermore, Clark's presence on the court had already revolutionized the Indiana Fever, a team that had struggled in previous seasons but had experienced a rebirth under Clark's leadership. Her ability to improve her teammates, generate scoring opportunities, and lead by example was viewed by many as a type of dominance, even if it did not always appear in standard statistics.
You cannot over-help on penetration, but that's also the responsibility of the on-ball defender. A'ja Wilson's going to work.
Here comes.
One of the reasons Sheryl Swoopes' statements were so influential in the conversation was her playing legacy. Swoopes, a 3-time WNBA MVP and one of the league's earliest superstars, offers a unique perspective on what it takes to compete at the highest level of women's basketball. Thus, her critique of Clark was viewed as a remark from someone who had been in Clark's shoes and understood the problems.
She's dominated college, right?
No, she dominated in college.
She dominated. So when she says you won't come here and dominate off the rip.
Finally, the discussion on Gil's arena brings up a broader issue in sports commentary, the temptation to pass judgment on young athletes too fast. While Clark's first season did not live up to expectations, it is evident that she had the talent, drive, and potential to become one of the WNBA's most prominent talents. Only time will tell if she can achieve the degree of dominance that players like Swoopes did. But for now, the argument over her legacy is only getting started. The world of women's basketball has been more exciting and intense than ever in 2024. The WNBA season has given us unforgettable moments. Still, one of the biggest talking points is the rivalry between two of the league's brightest stars, A'ja Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces and Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. Both players are neck and neck for the MVP title, but tensions reached an all-time high after Clark's stunning appearance at the MVP Awards, where she reportedly stole the spotlight from Wilson.
Relying on her passing, getting the ball to her, defense double team, A'ja Wilson.
This video looks into how Caitlin Clark, in her rookie year, managed to shake the WNBA's landscape and, in the process, ignite a fierce rivalry with veteran A'ja Wilson. We'll explore Wilson's dominance, Clark's rise to fame, and the turning point at the MVP Awards that sent shockwaves through the basketball community.
WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson joined us here on SportsCenter. A'ja, I hope you could hear some of the stats we were just throwing at the audience.
A'ja Wilson has been a force in the WNBA since she entered the league. By 2024, she's already a multiple-time MVP winner, WNBA champion, and regarded as one of the most complete players in the game. Her stats for the season are nothing short of remarkable, leading the league in scoring and blocks and nearly topping the rebounding charts. Wilson has dominated both ends of the court for the Las Vegas Aces, helping her team stay on top and securing a high playoff seed.
With a clear out, runs and shows some help and gets in the gap and forces her to pass.
The fortuitous bounce and one for.
Despite her accolades, the 2024 season was more challenging for Wilson than anticipated. Her success was almost taken for granted. Fans and analysts saw her as the inevitable MVP, and this sentiment carried through most of the season. A'ja Wilson is the MVP. No contest, they would say. However, this disregard changed when a young rookie started making waves. Wilson, being the consummate professional she is, never publicly acknowledged the pressure mounting from younger talents like Clark. Yet, in interviews and social media, there were hints of frustration. After all, some saw her league, her title, and Clark as a new threat. For A'ja Wilson, the MVP award was more than just another trophy. It symbolized her dominance in the sport to which she had dedicated her life.
Just trusting the process, but also our defensive end. I think we really settled down on the defensive end, and that's where we can really play our basketball. But sometimes you gotta trust the process. Adversity hit us a little.
Enter Caitlin Clark, a name that would soon be on the lips of every basketball fan across the globe. Clark's entry into the WNBA was nothing short of spectacular. Coming off a stellar college career at Iowa, Clark's transition to professional basketball was seamless. Known for her sharpshooting, playmaking, and competitive edge, she quickly became the face of the Indiana Fever, a team that had languished at the bottom of the league for years.
The pressure as Bonner can't hit. Back then lay the rebound. Here comes Clark, bouncing to...
Clark's rookie season stats were mind-boggling, averaging nearly 20 points per game, leading the league in assists, and shooting a staggering number of threes. She wasn't just a rookie standout, she was one of the best players in the entire WNBA. Her impact on the Indiana Fever was immediate and profound, turning the team into playoff contenders for the first time in nearly a decade.
Realizes it. Clark trying to take her defender, pulls up and hits from the mid-range, 20 points.
What made Clark stand out wasn't just her ability to score or facilitate, but her confidence on the court. From buzzer beaters to clutch performances in big games, she exuded an aura of fearlessness, one that endeared her to fans, but put her in the crosshairs of seasoned veterans like Wilson. Despite being a rookie, Clark was already being hailed as a potential MVP candidate, which set the stage for the tension between her and Aja.
Of that run to the finals before the Liberty fell to the Aces in 4 games. Clark connects!
As the 2024 WNBA season progressed, it became clear that Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson were on a collision course. The MVP race, which many thought Wilson would run away with, became a 2-horse race. Every game, every stat, every highlight seemed to compare these two players, veteran dominance versus rookie sensation. This rivalry wasn't just confined to the court. Off the court, fans and analysts were quick to stir the pot. Social media buzzed with debates on who deserved the MVP more. Clark's fans were vocal, especially after some of her standout performances against powerhouse teams like the Las Vegas Aces. Aja Wilson's fans, on the other hand, remained confident that their star player would maintain her throne.
The energy. I feel like the energy is good. It's a good vibe. It's a good feel. People are really just coming to see the product on the floor.
The media, too, fueled the fire. Headlines like, "Is Caitlin Clark more influential than Aja Wilson?" became common, and every ESPN segment seemed to analyze Clark's rise compared to Wilson's steady greatness. Wilson, who had been the face of the league for years, suddenly found herself sharing the spotlight with a rookie. She handled it with grace, on the surface. But behind the scenes, there were murmurs that Wilson wasn't pleased with the narrative shift.
Bubble and the wubble, I walked into that room and handed you the MVP trophy, and guess what? You are the 2024.
One of the biggest moments of the season that highlighted this tension was when Clark's Indiana Fever defeated Wilson's Las Vegas Aces in a regular season thriller. Clark dropped 35 points, including a buzzer-beater 3 to win the game, and the clip of Wilson's reaction, frustrated, hands on hips, went viral. While Wilson downplayed the loss, it was clear that Clark's emergence had gotten under her skin.
45 blocks last year, Clark for 3!
The stage was set for the MVP Awards night, the culmination of an intense WNBA season. Aja Wilson, coming off another dominant season, was expected to take home her 3rd MVP trophy. Caitlin Clark, however, was the wild card. While most analysts predicted Wilson to win, Clark's undeniable impact had many believing that she could pull off an upset. As the awards ceremony began, the tension in the room was palpable. Wilson, dressed in a sleek black gown, sat confidently with her Las Vegas Aces teammates by her side. Caitlin Clark, ever the competitor, had also made her way to the event. Her presence alone was enough to stir conversation. After all, how often does a rookie show up to an event where they're up against the league's greatest?
The wait is finally over. The best player on the planet, number 22, Aja Wilson.
When the MVP award was announced, it was no surprise that Aja Wilson was crowned the winner. But the drama unfolded in the moments that followed. As Wilson made her way to the stage to accept the trophy, a camera panned to Clark. The rookie star was seen smiling, clapping politely, but many noticed the intensity in her eyes. For Wilson, what was supposed to be a moment of triumph felt bittersweet as the shadow of Clark loomed large over the celebration.
One award, it's been over for a while. Aja Wilson is the best player in the W, and she was named the MVP unanimously on Sunday. Only the second player.
Rumors quickly spread that Wilson was furious behind the scenes. Sources claimed that she felt disrespected by Clark's presence at the awards, believing the rookie was there to steal her spotlight. These reports gained traction after a leaked video showed Wilson in a heated conversation with her teammates post-ceremony. While Wilson didn't directly call out Clark, her body language and tone suggested that she wasn't pleased with how the night had unfolded. The days following the MVP awards were filled with speculation, memes, and debates. Social media exploded with fans taking sides, Team Aja or Team Caitlin. While some argued that Wilson's frustration was justified, others believed Clark had every right to attend the ceremony and celebrate her incredible season. Basketball analysts weighed in as well. Some believed that Wilson's reaction was a sign of her competitive spirit, a desire to remain the best in the league. Others suggested that Wilson, perhaps subconsciously, saw Clark as the beginning of a new era in the WNBA, one where her reign as the league's top player might be coming to an end.
Feel about that?
Oh, that's incredible. I did not know it was unanimous. That's so cool. That is really cool.
Clark, for her part, remained silent publicly. She posted a congratulatory message to Wilson on social media, praising her as a worthy MVP. But the rookie's silence on the MVP snub fueled further speculation. Did she feel she deserved the award? Was she upset at being overlooked despite her record-breaking season? The basketball world was left guessing. As for Wilson, she gave a few interviews after the awards, downplaying the rumors of her frustration. "I'm just here to win championships," she said, emphasizing that her focus was on the upcoming playoffs. But fans and analysts couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted between Wilson and Clark. This wasn't just a rivalry anymore, it was personal.
This is the first time since 1997 that it was a unanimous vote for MVP.
I did not know it was
Oh, congratulations, yeah.
With the MVP awards behind them, both A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark turned their attention to the WNBA playoffs. For Wilson, this was her opportunity to cement her legacy further by leading the Las Vegas Aces to another championship. For Clark, it was a chance to prove that she wasn't just a flash in the pan, that her rookie season was just the beginning of a storied career.
This year, but a really cool shoe collab with Under Armour and Kelsey Plum.
Oh, I love it with the cigar flare as well.
As the WNBA entered its most exciting part of the season, fans eagerly awaited the possibility of a Clark versus Wilson showdown in the playoffs. The MVP race had ended, but the rivalry was far from over. Both players had something to prove. Wilson, that she was still the league's best, and Clark, that she could compete with the WNBA's elite. The 2024 WNBA season will forever be remembered for the clash between these two basketball titans. A'ja Wilson, the established superstar, and Caitlin Clark, the rising sensation, represent two different eras of the league. And while Wilson took home the MVP trophy this time, it's clear that Clark's presence has already changed the landscape of women's basketball.
Here is Clark. She will launch and bury a three.
Only time will tell how this rivalry evolves, but one thing is certain: the battle between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark is far from over. The MVP awards may have gone to A'ja Wilson, but the real story of the 2024 WNBA season is the rivalry that has emerged between her and Caitlin Clark. It's a rivalry that has captivated fans, sparked debates, and made women's basketball more exciting than ever.
Said she did USA 3-on-3, China, Turkey. Now she thinks this is ready for her time.
So, what do you think? Was A'ja Wilson right to feel furious about Caitlin Clark's appearance at the MVP awards? Or was it simply the nature of competition? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing rivalry. Caitlin Clark, the exceptional Iowa Hawkeyes basketball player, has shown to be a formidable opponent on the floor. Her incredible performances have captivated viewers, making her one of the most talked about players in college basketball today. Clark's extraordinary scoring ability, leadership, and unmistakable brilliance have captivated both sports fans and pundits. However, she recently became the focus of a different type of attention, not because of her on-court exploits, but because of comments made about her by ESPN's Molly Curran.
Clark over Horston, hits a three!
In a world where athletes are constantly scrutinized, Caitlin Clark's name came up in a heated debate that eventually led to ESPN's decision to terminate Molly Curran. The episode has aroused significant controversy, with sports fans, commentators, and critics commenting on both Curran's statements and Clark's meteoric ascent to fame. As we investigate this surprising turn of events, it is critical to consider Caitlin Clark's effect on women's basketball, the context of the statements that led to Curran's firing, and the broader ramifications for sports journalism today.
I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving.
So go ahead and argue.
That's exactly.
Before delving into the topic, it's important to understand who Caitlin Clark is and why she's become such an influential person in women's sports. Caitlin Clark's collegiate basketball career has been nothing short of spectacular. As a prominent Iowa Hawkeyes player, she has constantly provided awe-inspiring performances, often carrying her team on her back with amazing scoring ability, vision, and a dogged will to win.
But Cowan, who couldn't finish, behind the back again for Clark, give her another assist.
Clark, from Des Moines, Iowa, was already a household name in high school basketball, where she broke records and garnered national recognition. Her choice to remain home and play for Iowa signaled the start of a new era in women's collegiate basketball. Clark made it evident from the time she walked on the floor as a freshman that she was unique. Her ability to sink deep three-pointers, throw out precise assists, and lead her squad with toughness gained her respect around the league.
The turnover ratio in her career last season. Clark gets away with a little push, fall away, buries it. And a little reaction.
In only a few seasons, Clark went from a prospective recruit to a popular name, garnering comparisons to some of basketball's best players. She's been dubbed a once-in-a-generation talent, capable of transforming the game's landscape and propelling the popularity of women's sports to new heights. Fans have praised her court vision, flair for the theatrical, and ability to take over games, often in the clutch.
Clark working on Van Loo. Oh, Clark, pretty step back, hits a three. Got a little sip.
Her awards have continued to pile up, including All-American honors, scoring crowns, and national notoriety. Clark has been associated with success in women's college basketball, and her efforts have propelled Iowa far into tournaments, where she has frequently single-handedly led her team to victory. As Clark's popularity rose, so did the prominence of women's basketball, resulting in more media coverage and a larger fan base.
And now Clark comes up with a steal. Clark thought about pulling up from three, will dip inside and lay it in.
Caitlin Clark's notoriety in the sports world is no surprise, since she has been a regular subject of discussion on sports broadcasts, such as ESPN's First Take. However, things took a dramatic turn when Molly Karam, one of the show's co-hosts, made remarks that sparked a firestorm of outrage. During a section analyzing Clark's most recent performance, Karam allegedly made statements that many saw as disparaging and contemptuous of Clark's achievements. While the statements seem innocuous on the surface, the manner in which they were delivered sparked outrage among fans and critics alike. Karam reportedly said that Clark's style of play was showy, but lacked the substance required to excel at the top level of competition.
I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented.
The crowd did not favorably receive the statements. Fans of Caitlin Clark turned to social media to vent their anger, accusing Karam of disparaging Clark's accomplishments and downplaying her importance in the sport. What made the matter even more contentious was the timing. Clark had just given another outstanding performance, guiding her side to a huge win. Karam's words in the aftermath further added to the fury. In today's hyper-connected world, when news and views move at breakneck speed, Karam's remarks became viral. Social media sites such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were inundated with comments condemning Karam for what many saw as an unjustified and foolish assault on Clark. Hashtags like Shocker Support Caitlin Clark and Fire Molly Karam started trending, with fans urging ESPN to take action.
It wasn't that anybody didn't think she was going to be successful or not play. It was just that we felt the other players in the W deserve shine as well.
Prominent people in sports, including players, pundits, and analysts, have spoken out on the issue. Many people jumped to Caitlin Clark's defense, praising her remarkable accomplishments and the wonderful influence she has made on women's basketball. Others questioned the larger implications of Karam's words, claiming that female athletes are often held to higher standards and get more criticism than their male colleagues. The anger was not restricted to basketball enthusiasts. Advocates for women's sports and gender equality interpreted Karam's remarks as symptomatic of a broader problem, the systematic undervaluation of women's athletic achievements. They said that statements like Karam's foster the perception that women's sports are somehow inferior to men's despite athletes like Caitlin Clark competing at unprecedented levels.
Molly, I said...
Really, Molly? Wow.
They jumped on us. They jumped on us, Molly. They jumped on us as a show.
As the outcry grew, it became evident that this wasn't merely a slip of judgment. Karam's remarks touched a deeper chord, addressing problems of gender, media portrayal, and the continuous struggle for recognition in women's sports. ESPN is no stranger to controversy, and the network has had its fair share of public relations issues over the years. However, the backlash over Karam's remarks regarding Caitlin Clark created a particularly difficult scenario for the sports media behemoth.
This team and spending time on the bench, what is the conversation going to be about the entire...
Initially, ESPN kept mute on the matter, maybe anticipating that the reaction would subside on its own. However, when the scandal escalated, the network was obliged to confront it publicly. In a short statement, ESPN recognized that the statements made on First Take had offended viewers and promised them that the problem was being taken seriously. Behind the scenes, it was evident that ESPN was facing a tough choice. On the one hand, Karam was a well-known character on the network, having co-hosted the show First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Firing a prominent figure like Karam would not be handled lightly. On the other side, the network came under increasing pressure from fans and supporters of women's sports to hold Karam responsible for her comments.
Eyeballs, the interest, the sizzle, the headlines were not there. No one cared. The public didn't.
Finally, ESPN chose to cut ways with Molly Karam. In a subsequent statement, the network reaffirmed its commitment to creating an open and respectful workplace for all athletes, including women. While the decision to terminate Karim elicited varied responses, it highlighted the rising significance of responsibility in sports media, especially with the treatment of female athletes. The aftermath of Molly Karam's termination has sparked a broader debate about media responsibility and the treatment of female athletes in the sports world. The episode demonstrates the power dynamics at work in sports media and raises serious concerns about how athletes, especially women, are depicted and discussed.
Excuse me?
You deserved it all.
Molly, can I speak to Andre?
Yeah.
Can I speak to Andre right now? Don't interrupt the flow.
One of the most obvious concerns that this scandal has highlighted is the discrepancy in how male and female the media regard athletes. While male athletes are often complimented for their confidence, swagger, and aggressiveness on the court, female competitors, such as Caitlin Clark, are sometimes chastised for exhibiting similar characteristics. This double standard reflects strongly held social ideas regarding gender and competitiveness, and it continues to influence how women in sports are regarded and assessed.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Following Karam's dismissal, many have called for a review of how media outlets cover women's sports. While female athletes have made considerable progress in terms of exposure and acknowledgement, situations like these serve as a reminder that more work is still to be done. The media has a significant influence on public views of athletes, and that power comes with the duty to deliver fair and courteous coverage. For Caitlin Clark, the event has further cemented her place as a pioneer in women's basketball. Despite the criticism, she has stayed focused on her game, consistently delivering outstanding results and inspiring the next generation of athletes. Her tenacity in the face of media criticism is a great example for young athletes worldwide, demonstrating that on the court, achievement speaks louder than words.
They're already at 10. Look at the tie last year's winning record.
Clark from way downtown and knocks it down.
The dispute involving Molly Karam and Caitlin Clark is part of a larger discussion regarding the future of women's sports coverage. Women's sports are becoming more popular, and media sources must adjust to give more balanced coverage. This includes not just improving female athletes' exposure, but also ensuring that discussion and analysis of their performances are fair, impartial, and devoid of damaging preconceptions. The termination of Molly Karam sends a strong message that rude or disparaging statements regarding female athletes will not be allowed. However, the problem going ahead is establishing a media climate in which female athletes are rewarded for their achievements without resorting to such extreme measures. In the middle of this media storm, Caitlin Clark has continued to do what she does best: play top basketball. Her rise from high school wonder to college superstar has been nothing short of incredible, and she shows no signs of slowing down. The Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, has produced a slew of outstanding players throughout the years, but two stand out in recent memory: Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Their paths, although different, have often crossed, with each making substantial contributions to women's basketball and the sport's general development. Clark and Mitchell have captivated fans with their on-court talent, and the history they have created together represents the WNBA's developing environment.
Wins all of last season. They're already at 10. Look at the tie last year's winning record.
Clark from way downtown.
Caitlin Clark, a brilliant college basketball player, was making headlines even before she joined the WNBA. Her remarkable ascent has catapulted her into talks with the game's luminaries. Kelsey Mitchell, on the other side, has quickly established herself as one of the WNBA's top scorers after being drafted in 2018. These two players symbolize the league's present and future, and their journeys tell a unique story of grit, ability, and dedication.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. You knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41%.
In this video, we will examine the connected histories of Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, including their upbringing, early careers, and how they influenced and continue to develop the WNBA. We will also examine their playing styles, achievements, and impact both on and off the court.
Clark off the switch, found Smith, who landed.
Caitlin Clark, born in West Des Moines, Iowa, has swiftly established herself as one of the country's most promising basketball players. Clark has had an unusual ability to score from wherever on the floor since he was little. Her high school career was nothing short of remarkable, as she established multiple records and received numerous awards. She was a high school All-American, and her choice to join the University of Iowa benefited both her and the program. During her college career, Clark's name became associated with explosive playmaking, long-range shooting, and a ferocious competitive spirit. Her ability to command the floor and push her team to success was shown when she led the Iowa Hawkeyes to new heights in the NCAA tournament. Clark's unwavering pursuit of perfection, along with her basketball IQ, elevated her to the ranks of women's collegiate basketball's most prominent players.
As Bonner can't hit, Fag-Benley the rebound. Here comes Clark, bouncing to Fag-Benley, who lays it in!
Clark was already being compared to some of the finest players in the WNBA before going pro, and her ability to have a huge effect on the league was obvious. She was seen not just as a potential WNBA player, but also as someone whose unique skill set may transform the game. Kelsey Mitchell, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, had a somewhat different road to basketball greatness. Mitchell's basketball career started in high school, where she polished her abilities before attending Ohio State University. Mitchell became one of the most prolific scorers in NCAA history while at Ohio State, establishing records for both her shooting ability and on-court leadership. Her accomplishments earned her a berth in the 2018 WNBA draft, when she was taken second overall by the Indiana Fever.
Minnesota bouncing back on top. Kelsey Mitchell also heating up in the second half.
The high arcing from Kelsey Mitchell.
Mitchell's move to the WNBA was simple, and she rapidly established herself in the league. Her scoring talent, especially from beyond the arc, gave her a nightmare for opponents, and she emerged as one of the Indiana Fever's primary offensive weapons. Mitchell's skill has improved over the years, and she is now one of the league's most consistent scorers. While Clark was still making an impact in college, Mitchell had already established herself as one of the best players in the WNBA, demonstrating that her collegiate success could be translated to the professional level.
Steve 9, 5:13 left in regulation. Mitchell tries to answer with a long-range jumper of her own.
Caitlin Clark's game is typified by her ability to score from any position on the floor. She possesses long range, allowing her to make three-pointers from many feet beyond the arc, similar to NBA stars such as Stephen Curry and Damian Lillard. But Clark is much more than simply a shooter. She is a superb playmaker, often setting up her teammates for easy baskets with precision passing and excellent court vision.
Comes Caitlin. Get it!
Clark's basketball IQ stands out among many other players. She is a game student who consistently makes the correct judgments and is seldom shaken by high-stakes scenarios. Clark has shown to be one of the most versatile players in recent memory, whether she is creating space for a shot, driving to the basket, or providing an assist. Clark is also a formidable defensive player. She uses her length and quickness to block passing lanes, and her competitive drive keeps her focused on both ends of the floor. Her total flexibility makes her a player who can influence the game in a variety of ways, which is one of the reasons she was so successful in college and is anticipated to succeed in the WNBA. Kelsey Mitchell, on the other hand, is well known for her scoring skills. Throughout her collegiate and WNBA careers, she was one of the most dangerous offensive players in the league. Mitchell's fast release and ability to build her shot make her an ongoing danger to opposition defenses. Her three-point shooting is exceptional, and she can pull up from anywhere on the floor with ease.
Mitchell has not missed a shot yet. She's 3 for 3. Shot clock down to 5. Mitchell trying to create. Step back, that's a 3. She connects. Mitchell is...
But Mitchell is more than simply a shooter. She can also attack the basket and finish through contact, making her a dynamic scorer who can disrupt defenses in various ways. Her quickness and ball handling abilities enable her to beat opponents off the dribble, and she is adept at managing traffic to reach the basket. While Mitchell's greatest strength is her ability to score, she has also improved her playmaking skills with time. Early in her career, she was more concerned with her offense, but as she grew, she learned to include her teammates more, making her a complete player. Mitchell is aggressive on defense, utilizing her agility to keep ahead of her opponents and disrupt their attacking flow. Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA is much anticipated as she prepares to make her debut. Her academic success has already elevated her to an elite company, and many expect her to be a game changer on the professional level. The possibility of Clark competing against experienced WNBA talents like Kelsey Mitchell adds an interesting element to the league. Fans are excited to watch how Clark's unique skill set will transfer against the world's finest defenders, and how she will improve the performance of her future squad. Clark's debut in the WNBA is crucial not just for her own career, but also for the league as a whole. The exposure she received during her college years has helped to increase awareness of women's basketball, and her participation in the WNBA is anticipated to improve the league's appeal even more.
Realizes it. Clark trying to take her defender, pulls up and hits from the mid-range, 20 points.
While Clark's WNBA debut is greatly anticipated, Kelsey Mitchell's reputation in the league continues to grow. Mitchell is already 3 years into her professional career and has established herself as one of the WNBA's finest offensive players. Her steady scoring and leadership on the court have made her a vital member of the Indiana Fever, and she shows no signs of slowing down. Mitchell's impact in the WNBA extends beyond just scoring points. She has become a mentor to younger players, guiding the future generation of stars, such as Caitlin Clark, who will shortly join the league. Mitchell's expertise and leadership are critical to the development of the league's future stars, and she continues to set a standard for what it takes to achieve at the top level of female basketball.
So just trying to force the pace, pull up three. Mitchell.
As Caitlin Clark joins the WNBA, she and Kelsey Mitchell will undoubtedly face off on the floor. These clashes are guaranteed to be exciting, as both players have great offensive abilities and a competitive intensity that motivates them to perform at their best. While Clark's approach is more focused on playmaking and adaptability, Mitchell's sheer scoring ability provides a unique challenge to any opponent. Clark and Mitchell's competition, although heated on the court, is likely to be characterized by mutual respect. Both athletes have overcome enormous challenges to reach the pinnacle of their respective sports, and they understand the commitment and hard work required to achieve at the professional level. This admiration will be visible in their confrontations as they push each other to new heights and elevate the WNBA's level of competitiveness.
NBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and
Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell's participation in the WNBA ushers in a new era for women's basketball. As the league's popularity grows, athletes like Clark and Mitchell are at the vanguard of that transformation.
Their distinct skill sets, competitive spirit, and ability to interact with fans make them ideal ambassadors for the league's future.
And you know what that is? Kudos to her, because that means not only has she been putting in the work behind the scenes, but that means
The effect of these two athletes extends beyond their on-court performances. Both Clark and Mitchell have utilized their platforms to promote women's sports and encourage the next generation of female athletes. Their effect can be seen in the increased number of young girls who pick up a basketball and hope to one day play in the WNBA. Clark and Mitchell are creating history together, which is crucial in terms of representation. As the WNBA fights for more exposure and equality in the world of sports, the success of players like Clark and Mitchell contributes to the ongoing discussion about the value of women's sports and the need for increased funding and support. Looking forward, Caitlin Clark's future in the WNBA seems very promising.
rookie from the Indiana Fever who continues to be box office. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA.
She has all of the tools necessary to become one of the league's brightest lights. There will be an adjustment period as she moves from college to professional basketball, but Clark's skill and work ethic indicate that she will adapt quickly and prosper in the WNBA. Clark's ability to motivate her colleagues and improve those around her will be critical to her long-term success. As her game improves, it's not difficult to envision her guiding her team to several playoff berths and maybe a title.
When you're at that position, the point guard position, and you're leading the charge, you have to figure things out. But all I was hearing...
Kelsey Mitchell sees the future as ongoing domination in the WNBA. Mitchell, who is now at the peak of her career, has already established herself as one of the league's top offensive players. As she continues to improve her game and take on additional leadership responsibilities, she will undoubtedly be a key figure in the WNBA for many years to come.
And offensively be more involved here.
Aaliyah Boston is one of the elite post players in this league. She needs to get touches down low in the...
Mitchell's ability to score at will, along with her developing playmaking abilities, make her a tough challenge for any opponent. As the league evolves, Mitchell will be at the forefront, paving the way for the next generation of WNBA players. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell's past together demonstrates their talent, tenacity, and passion for the game of basketball. While their paths have been different, they have each had a significant effect on women's basketball, and their presence in the WNBA is helping to define the league's future.
And that's the way to push the ball in transition. Oh, that's not gonna waste much time. Caitlin Clark has...
As Clark starts her professional career and Mitchell builds on her already great reputation, the WNBA is in capable hands. These two athletes symbolize the pinnacle of women's basketball, and their contributions will be felt for years to come. Whether as opponents or teammates, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are creating history, and their careers are far from done.
Clark has space, she's gonna let it fly, and she's gonna connect!
Caitlin Clark is unstoppable in the WNBA right now, and it appears that no matter what occurs, she rises to the occasion. Clark's recent move has dramatically altered the league landscape, leaving fans, pundits, and even her detractors stunned. The same people who formerly mocked her or questioned her talents are now faced with the inescapable truth. Caitlin Clark is unstoppable. Every move she makes and every game she plays leaves the WNBA in awe, but her most recent accomplishment elevated it to a new level. It was more than just a game-changing performance. It was a cultural event, a seismic shift that had her critics scurrying for an explanation.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. You knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41%.
Caitlin Clark has been a superstar since her undergraduate days, captivating admirers with her tremendous range, precision playmaking, and unwavering confidence. Her supremacy on the basketball court began early, but what makes her path even more astounding is her ability to turn every doubt, struggle, and criticism into fuel for her never-ending desire to be the best. Clark's outstanding performance at the University of Iowa, where she led her team to multiple triumphs, demonstrated that she was destined for greatness. However, shifting to the WNBA brought its own set of expectations and challenges.
Red hot. They've been ice cold since that first quarter. Clark way outside. You bet!
The WNBA is populated by great athletes who have competed at the highest level for years. And for Clark, entering this environment meant demonstrating that she could not only hold her own, but also dominate. She dominated. Clark's transition to the WNBA went more smoothly than most rookies. She had an immediate impact, demonstrating that she was more than just a brilliant player. She was a game changer. However, as popularity grows, critics emerge, and Clark was no exception. Despite her apparent brilliance, Caitlin Clark has endured her fair share of criticism. Clark has come under severe criticism for a variety of reasons, including her confident demeanor on the court, her abrasive playing style, and the fact that she constantly performs at a level that others find difficult to match. Some have criticized her for being overly confident or bold, while others have questioned her capacity to continue her success over time. Clark, however, has always responded to criticism by allowing her game to speak for itself. Her ability to soar above the fray has been nothing short of astounding. While some athletes may crumble under the weight of continual media scrutiny and fan expectations, Clark appears to revel in it. Every unfavorable comment or doubt seems to inspire her to prove others wrong, which she has done throughout her WNBA career.
That's putting up some buckets.
It sure was. Top 4 scorers at the college level here in this one. As
Clark just did something that hushed her detractors while also sending shockwaves around the league. Clark set many records in a single game, delivering a masterpiece that left even her opponents in awe. It wasn't just the number of points she scored or how she dominated on both ends of the court. It was how she did it, with poise, confidence, and precision, that drew everyone's attention. Clark not only performed admirably in this game, but she also redefined what it meant to be a WNBA superstar. Her ability to dictate the pace of the game, make impossible shots appear easy, and involve her teammates at the right times exhibited a level of basketball intelligence that many had never seen before. Caitlin Clark was clearly playing to make a statement, not just to win.
Foul knows it's important not to pick up the second because she got 2 in the first quarter against Connecticut.
Clark connects on a 3.
She made a statement. By the end of the game, Clark had broken multiple records, including the most points scored in a single game by a WNBA player. Fans were ecstatic, social media exploded, and sports analysts couldn't stop talking about her performance. While many people were celebrating Clark's historic night, there was one group that wasn't so happy: her critics.
Where all the people that Stephen A? Oh, she don't do this. She not gonna do that. Let her cook.
Let her.
Caitlin Clark's critics, or bullies, reacted quickly. However, rather than recognizing Clark's greatness, many of them doubled down on their critiques, accusing her of being overly flashy or condescending to her opponents. They said that her record-breaking performance was motivated by ego rather than skill. Some even argued that Clark's dominance was detrimental to the league, making the WNBA less competitive.
Diggins, Fake Smith, her last name, she bumped into her, sped up. Let her cook. But if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'd have told...
These comments, of course, were unfounded. Clark's achievement was about more than just individual triumph. It was about pushing the limits of what is possible in sport. However, for some, watching a young, confident athlete like Clark succeed was too much to bear. Her success, in their eyes, represented a threat to the established system, and rather than celebrating her accomplishments, they chose to undermine her. Clark, as always, remained unmoved. She did not respond to the abuse or engage with her critics. Instead, she allowed her game to speak for itself. In doing so, she once again demonstrated why she is one of the league's most entertaining and brilliant players. Caitlin Clark's climb to popularity is more than simply a personal triumph. It can transform the WNBA as a whole. For years, the league has struggled with visibility and respect, frequently being overshadowed by its male counterpart, the National Basketball Association. However, with players like Clark creating headlines and attracting new fans, the WNBA is beginning to receive the recognition it deserves.
And stop other teams from scoring.
Well, last year Indiana was 10th in pace. Christy Sides telling us Clark rattles her second three.
Clark's triumph has energized the league. Fans eagerly await her next move, and her performances frequently make national headlines. In some ways, Clark is helping to break the mold of what fans anticipate from the WNBA. She demonstrates that women's basketball can be as thrilling, competitive, and entertaining as men's basketball, and sometimes even more so. But Clark's impact extends beyond the games. She has also established herself as a role model for young athletes, particularly young females who aspire to play professional basketball. Clark is pushing the next generation of players to chase their aspirations and push the limits of what is possible in the sport by demonstrating that it is possible to excel in the WNBA while doing so stylishly. Clark's influence extends beyond the court. Off the court, her influence is just as strong. Clark has become a cultural icon, heralding a new age in women's basketball that values confidence, talent, and personality. Clark's unabashed attitude has struck a chord with both fans and sportsmen in a sport where players are frequently supposed to be meek and reserved.
League and assist her last 5 games, Shannon. 22.5 points per game on 46% shooting, 11.4 assists per game.
Her social media following has skyrocketed, with millions of people tuning in to see her most recent postings, interviews, and highlights. She's more than simply a basketball player. She's a brand, and her appeal goes far beyond the sport. Major brands are lined up to collaborate with her, recognizing that Clark symbolizes the future of women's sports and that her influence will only expand in the coming years. Clark's most major cultural impact, however, has been her ability to change the narrative about women's basketball. For far too long, the WNBA has been ridiculed or overlooked, with many sports fans viewing it as a subpar imitation of the NBA. However, Clark's performances, together with the ascent of other brilliant players, are helping to shift that narrative. Caitlin Clark is leading the effort as more people realize the WNBA is full of great athletes capable of playing at an extremely high level.
That's 5, and now the Indiana Fever are 7th place overall and in playoff positioning. Caitlin Clark is real. She's coming, and I still...
With each passing game, it becomes increasingly evident that Caitlin Clark is only getting started. At only 23 years old, she has already accomplished more than many players do in their whole careers, and there is no telling how much more she will achieve in the coming years. Her mix of skill, confidence, and work ethic has put her on the path to greatness, and if no big setbacks occur, she might go down as one of the greatest WNBA players of all time.
At the 3, Boston the rebound, getting her first minutes. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark!
Beyond individual achievements, Clark can revolutionize the game itself. Clark is contributing to the WNBA's growth by pushing the boundaries of what is possible on the court and motivating a new generation of players. The league is already seeing a surge in viewership and fan engagement, thanks in large part to players like Clark, who are making the game more thrilling and accessible to a larger audience. As she continues to break records and defy expectations, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is only beginning. Caitlin Clark's rise from collegiate basketball standout to WNBA superstar has been nothing short of remarkable. She's had her fair share of critics and doubters along the way, but she's always been able to rise above the fray and let her talent shine through. Her latest record-breaking achievement reflected years of hard work, devotion, and an unwillingness to let others define her success.
I'm not quite sure who is benefiting. I guess you have to say the Wings right now because they're up.
Clark turned the corner.
But then again, here comes...
While her bullies may continue to celebrate her success, there's no doubt that Caitlin Clark is here to stay. Her impact on the WNBA, both on and off the court, is evident, and the league benefits from her continued ability to set records and redefine what it means to be a superstar. Caitlin Clark has revolutionized the game, and she is only just getting started.
The WNBA has always been very competitive, with players putting their heart and soul into every game. But lately, the discussion surrounding the MVP award has reached a fever pitch. A'ja Wilson, one of the WNBA's brightest talents, went off on what she sees as a tremendous injustice in the MVP race: Caitlin Clark's rejection of the prize title. What followed was nothing short of explosive, as A'ja Wilson launched a rage, sending shockwaves across the WNBA and its fandom.
Kelsey Plum playing Caitlin Clark, no catch, meaning she's not trying to let her get it back.
In this video, we'll explore the events that occurred, including why A'ja Wilson lost her cool and the drama surrounding Caitlin Clark's rejection. So brace up as we discuss what may be one of the most dramatic moments in WNBA history. To understand why A'ja Wilson's response was so strong, we must first accept her role in the WNBA. Since being selected as the first overall choice by the Las Vegas Aces in 2018, A'ja has been nothing short of exceptional. Her aggressive playing style, ability to dominate in the paint, and leadership characteristics have earned her a household name. Wilson, a two-time MVP and Olympic gold medalist, has constantly been in contention for the league's top honors. Wilson's intense competition and constant desire for achievement distinguish her as a great athlete. However, they also led to her angry response to Caitlin Clark's elimination from the MVP contest. Wilson's aggravation spilled out in a spectacular fashion as he understood the pressure and grandeur of winning the MVP award.
Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. It's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for league MVP honors. She ain't beating A'ja Wilson for the MVP.
Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has been surging to the forefront of the WNBA discourse. Clark was drafted by the Indiana Fever and joined the league with lofty hopes, and she has not disappointed. Caitlin Clark, known for her exceptional shooting range, court awareness, and ability to score from nearly anywhere, has made a significant impact in her first season. Many fans and commentators anticipated her not only to win Rookie of the Year, but also to be a strong contender for MVP.
A little step-up action right here.
Boston gets it back to Clark, sidesteps Howard. She will launch and knock down a three.
Clark's ability to perform well under pressure distinguishes her from other athletes. Whether it's hitting three-pointers from beyond the arc or providing clutch assists, she's constantly shown she can carry her team through the most difficult games. Despite this, Caitlin Clark's outstanding accomplishments did not transfer into MVP accolades this season, which has prompted great criticism, particularly among players such as Aja Wilson.
The WNBA, she's just the fourth player to shoot at least 70% from three-point range on at least 20 three-point attempts.
The WNBA MVP award is one of the most coveted in the league. The award is given to the player regarded most important to their team's success, which is frequently determined by a mix of individual numbers, team performance, and on-court leadership. This year, however, the battle for MVP got acrimonious, with players, fans, and pundits all disputing who should win the title.
Caitlin Clark. It's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for league MVP honors. She ain't beating Aja Wilson for the MVP, but she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way. Quick hitter number 3 goes to Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese.
Aja Wilson was once again in contention for MVP following another outstanding season. However, many believe that Caitlin Clark, despite being a rookie, had played at an MVP caliber level, making her a viable contender for the title.